artificial superintelligence, it's pretty much at least 100 times smarter than the smartest human alive. I've seen terrible human beings do very terrible things with the information that they have and making decisions that affect thousands, 10,000s of people, if not more, because of the things that they decide to do.
Do you know how the applications of AI will change the blockchain forever? Artificial intelligence can bring a new level of intelligence in the blockchain-based system networks. In today's podcast, we'll be talking about the applications of AI in the blockchain world. With me, today's guest is Diego Torres, who's the founder of Jada AI, creating sentient artificial intelligence which can be applied in the blockchain world. To know more about the types of AI and how it is structured in blockchain-based systems, stay tuned and enjoy the full podcast. Welcome to the show, Diego, and love to see what Jada AI is all about. So it's amazing to have you on the show.
Oh, well, thank you for the warm welcome, Avtarit. I'm very happy to be here.
I'd love to know your journey from being a creator and basically you were more into the animation or movies, I must say, when you started your career, and how did it happen that you, went after the AI and the blockchain and formed this cryptocurrency? So what was your, can you just explain briefly about your journey and how was it?
Sure. So it all started when I was super young, pretty much when I was a child. So I come from a family of software engineers. And that's kind of how I learned everything related to technology, right? I pretty much grew up with reading about microprocessor architecture, about AI modeling, all of these things, programming languages. That's pretty much what I grew up reading. And I started working in telecommunications and networks. Everything that has to do with data relay. Very, very early on, when I was 17, 18, something like that. And 2-3 years later into doing that, I just kind of got burned out. I was I need a break. And that's when I decided to follow another one of my passions, right, which is film. And I went to film school. I met some really nice people along the way, and we started doing film together, some animations, and then we started getting invited to film festivals. So our first one was the Toronto International Film Festival in Canada, which I don't know, I still can't believe we were there. Because, we just met so many wonderful filmmakers, creators, from around the planet. So it was a very nice experience. And then after that, we started getting invited to other festivals, in Seoul, in South Korea. And it was actually there that I made my first friends from India, from from Mumbai, Delhi, yeah. And 2017, that's when I discovered cryptocurrencies and blockchain.
Right.
And I was wow, this technology is really good. So I started learning everything I could about the blockchain, the concepts of decentralization, cryptography, smart contracts, all of these things. And I just fell in love with it, with the technology. And I understood the potential that it had to help people and empower them with decision making, So I don't know. That's kind of how it started. So it was around that time, 2017, that I was the little tech, the little tech spark in me was let's start coding. So I started doing designing theorems for AI, cognitive architecture, things like that. And a couple of years later, during the pandemic, the film business that we had was it was still thriving. Honestly, it was still very thriving. Despite the whole pandemic situation, but like I couldn't go out as much anymore. So
Right.
I had more time to be at home. And then one day I remember I just went through all my notes, like this much of worth of like notebooks and, you know, hard drives and things like that. And I started really like just going through everything that I had written, you know, those last 3, 4 years. And I was like, this kind of looks like AGI. AGI is this very specific theoretical area of AI research, artificial general intelligence. It's the concept of designing an AI that thinks like we humans do, that has the same level of intellect as a human being. And once we as a human, once we as humanity achieve AGI, um, that'll make a lot of things much more easier for us. You know, like just imagine a computer, a machine that's able to think like we do, but without our organic limitations, right? Like without having to like worry about sleep, about getting tired, you know, things like that. And being able to like process so much data and learn in such a, you know, like in time, so you know, like smaller amounts of time than it would take us years. We'll be able to find, you know, solutions to problems that are taking us literally decades or centuries to you know, discovering on our own. So that's how it started. So during the rest of the pandemic, I was just like, you know, doing more research, talking to a couple of my collaborators, being like, hey, you know what, like, I think we have a good shot. Like, let's give it a try. Um, and it was last year, yeah, like in April of last year, 2021, where like I just made the decision to just do it full time. And that's kind of like how the idea with, you know, with Jada started. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so cool to hear. I mean, how from looking at the movies and then thinking about blockchain, and in 2020, I feel a lot of people I talk to, they have this self-realization because they have time in their hands in 2020 while the COVID happened. It just changed the way they looked at things or saw or observed and understood themselves better. And that's how, I mean, I think that's the formulation. Would I like Jada AI was born in 2020 in your mind? Okay, this is something which I can proceed further or I can associate myself with. And but when you say AI, there are a lot of things like authenticity, then automation, then a lot of things attached to it while we talk about AI with blockchain, right? So what Jada AI offers, like, I mean, when you say AGI, that means the AI can be able to access the situation right now and make calculated decisions like a human makes, right? Like what's happening right now, they can consume and access the algorithms, and then they can have this ultimate solution to it, real hand solution to it within the stipulated period of time. So how Jada AI, I mean, is different in the world of let's say artificial intelligence, and what would you say that you are doing which is different from other platforms or other cryptocurrencies which is linked with AI?
Okay, cool. Well, some context first. I'm gonna give you the difference between like the different kinds of AI, right? So
Right.
there's three kinds of artificial intelligence.
Okay.
There's ANI, which is artificial narrow intelligence.
Okay.
That's what we have like on our phones, what we have on some websites, you know, things like that. They're pretty much machine learning models. Um, the second one is AGI. That's, you know, that's what, you know, like what we're developing. And then the next one is called ASI, which is artificial super intelligence. That we still don't know how it's going to look like. But you know, the one in the middle is the next step before we get to the other one. So okay, artificial narrow intelligence. It means that it's only good at doing one thing. So for example, if you design a machine learning model, a machine learning model, and you design it, like, for example, for facial recognition.
Right.
So you can like it'll recognize your face, and it'll like unlock your phone based on, for example, the data that you train it on. So you, the user, have to show it your face multiple times, and it starts getting better as it recognizes your face more and more.
All right.
But if you, for example, copy that machine learning model on your phone and then ask it to, for example, analyze the trading data of Bitcoin for the last 5 years, it's not going to do anything, because it wasn't designed to crunch through texts and numbers. It was only designed to recognize like human faces. So that's kind of like what ANI machine learning is right now at the moment. It will be like, it'll do perfectly well at the task that you design it, but it will only act based on the data that you feed it. So the difference between ANI and AGI is where it's artificial general intelligence, in the sense that, okay, if you deploy it and you ask it, hey, can you recognize this person's face? It'll recognize it, yes. But if you talk to the AGI and be like, hey, okay, I have these this trading history that I want you to see, or can you analyze these migration patterns in these cities? We need to know how many people are migrating from this city and then to the other. It'll still be able to do it, even if it wasn't like initially designed for that. It'll be able to understand the problem in context. It'll be able to formulate a solution to that problem and then execute it autonomously without you having to like poke any more buttons or having to like give any more commands. And then while it's doing those three things, it'll also learn about what it's doing and its experiences. And if it needs more data, it's not going to ask you, hey, Diego, can you give me more data? It'll actually go and search for reliable
For itself.
sources. Yeah.
Right.
And then
I mean,
perform
what
better.
you're basically trying to say that ANI, artificial neuro intelligence, is
Narrow,
basically nano. Artificial nano intelligence is narrow or nano? Nano, right?
Narrow.
Narrow. Okay.
Yeah.
So it is basically about filling in more data and a specialized only one computing thing. Let's say like recognition, facial recognition, but the same. If you put, I mean, the data has to be given by the user again and again, right?
Yeah.
But AGI is sort of a platform where you are able to, where it can also take real time calculations, or you don't need, a user don't need to give a lot of data there, and that's how, I mean, it works. So it's basically, you can say, a level notch higher than AGI. Then ANI is like AGI is level 2 and ANI is level 1. And when you say ASI, that is quantum computing, like something related to that.
ASI it's what will come next after AGI. Artificial superintelligence. It's pretty much, if AGI is human level intellect that isn't limited by our organic organic brains, at least 100 times smarter than the smartest human alive at the moment, or in all of history. That's kind of like what ASI will be. Now, it's a level of intellect that we as humanity haven't, we just haven't known anyone that's that smart, or we have no reference of a civilization that is that smart, we just don't know how that kind of level of intellect, of intelligence, is going to look like. But that's what comes next, and that'll be many times more intelligent and powerful than AGI. I honestly don't think we as humans are going to be able to develop ASI. I think it's going to be like a collaboration. Yes, where AGI entities, like are like AGI entities in collaboration with human minds.
Yeah, because of every country wants to be powerful, like any country who's want to be a superpower, they are developing quantum computing. And quantum computer, in China and US are basically racing for who develops that supercomputer that can be able to do quantum computing. And I feel, if you we can link quantum computing with ASI, or it's a different theory.
No, yeah, it's very possible. So, like for example, let's compare ASI to the neurons in the brain and how the electricity flows through our brains.
Yeah,
And
they
the
make
quantum
patterns. Yeah.
computer is the gray matter that our brain is composed of, and the veins and the blood and everything. So right now with quantum computers, they're really good at like crunching numbers. Like for example, there's this one case where one quantum computer with just a couple of qubits, like it was able to like crunch through like a mathematical operation that it takes a classical binary computer, like it would have taken it 10,000 years to like find the solution to that to the mathematical operation. It took this quantum computer just a couple of minutes or seconds. So that's
Wow.
how powerful they are in comparison. But there's this other misconception. So, for example, there are things that classical binary computers can do that quantum computers can't
Okay.
because of the architecture of their chips per se. I mean, yeah, of their processing, like how they process information. And there are things, vice versa. There are things that quantum computers can do that binary computers will just never be able to. So one has like strengths in one thing, and quantum is strong in others. So, like for example, if you want to crack the Bitcoin network, or anything cryptography related, you're going to need a quantum computer, because quantum computers are able to hash through the cryptography, the cryptographic algorithm that secures all of these private keys. But classical binary computers, they just can't do that. Well, they can, but it'll take them 1,000, 2,000 years just for one single private key. But quantum computers can do it in a couple of seconds. That's why there's a lot of these quantum resistant blockchains that are starting to come out.
Oh, all
That,
right.
yeah, in preparation for the next 5, 10
10
years,
years.
once quantum computers are, once they become more mainstream. I think right now, like a quantum computer, just a couple of qubits, it's like $12 million USD. So they're still, relatively hard to get by. So quantum terrorism, I don't think it's going to be a thing for at least another 5, 8, 10 years. Yeah, but
And also I feel, when you say quantum computing, I mean, till the time it becomes mainstream, I think blockchain will become more secure. There'll be more things on top of it. They'll be always prepared for what can happen. And as we see along the way, when you see so many cryptocurrencies, and so many exchanges getting hacked, and because of the security. So when you talk about security in terms of blockchain, where do you think we are right now, as there is still a lot of people not knowing about cryptocurrencies, different part of the world? It's still, the magnitude is like fairly 1 trillion, and in between 1 trillion to 2 trillion. I think now it's fairly down than 1 trillion. So what do you think, does security pose an issue in people's mind when they want to invest in cryptocurrency?
security. Okay, well, there's many considerations into that. Like for example, first, it's like the main thing is trust, right? And the only way you can build trust is by creating a level of consistent safety, right? Um, like crypto has been around for like what, like 10, 12, 13 years, something like that,
Right. Right.
since 2009. Now, every time, like for example, for every day of crypto being a success, there's like nine bad days. It's really hard to trust the technology when it's that when it's when it has that kind of success rate. The technology works. It's the people behind it. So I think, like for example, during the during the bull run, there was like a lot of these projects emerging, and now
Yeah,
that we're
everybody's
in the
talking about them. Yeah.
yeah, now they're all gone because people don't trust they don't trust the technology for now, right? But the people that are staying and they're building and they're educating how the technology works, that's what makes the difference. So by educating the people on how the technology works, the same way that people they know how a toothbrush works, that way that they know their car works, and the way that they, like, if it fails, they understand, okay, well, it's not running because I forgot my keys. Oh, it's not running because I didn't put any gas into it. Oh, I have a flat tire. Once we reach that level of education, that's going to be the main driver for adoption, and people won't be afraid of the technology anymore. So in terms of like security, where we are as like in the whole Web3 space, I think builders, the people in charge of like creating the new technologies, they're becoming aware that people need to be educated. Then they deserve to understand how technology works, and they're also taking more considerations before launching one of their projects. Like for example, and I didn't see this back in 2018 or even 2019. Like, but I'm very happy to start seeing it now. Like, now I see founders. They reach out to other founders and they're like, "Hey, like, this is my smart contract architecture. Can you take a look at it? See if you can find any holes." And then that way there's like this consensus, or it's like, "Hey, you know what? Like, let's go get an audit at whatever audit company, and then that way, we have a certificate that shows that,
It's
okay, let's
legitimate.
talk." Yeah, or even like a risk mitigation specialist, or some of them are doing open source. So there's different ways to find the holes, and that way you don't see these exploits and hacks happening that will negatively affect people, that innocent people. Yeah.
Yeah, and also when you talk about Web3 and when you talk about like founders reaching another founder, that's the way to be, because when you talk about Web3, it's community driven. The more community you have, you know, and it's also based on trust. I feel blockchain is more secure than the other world. It's decentralized, first of all. Secondly, you can see the transactions. In a bank, you are not able to, or there are a lot of scams happen, and a lot of people rob the bank, or there's so many things, but we are not actively focused on that. If you see there are trillions of dollars being lost, then recession is a big scam. The government, that's a fucking big scam if you talk about that. If we are able to have these cryptocurrencies and feel like secured, or, that's fine. Now even stock markets of every country, and it is affected, and cryptocurrencies are affected by it. So that's a good thing, first of all. Secondly, I feel it's more secure. And if you are having a hardware wallet, and like I have my all cryptocurrencies in a hardware wallet, I just, when it's red, I buy. I know which are my research part, because when I started in 2017. So it's been 4 5 years. I have lost a lot. I have earned a lot, and I have actively traded a lot. So I understood the whole mechanism, how it works. But I feel that still, when I talk to people in India or outside, they still are not able to understand. Like, it's not mainstream right now. I mean, people say it's mainstream, but I would say it is not, because it's just 1 trillion, and you see the world population. I mean, there has to be, in India only, I think 7 to 8% people have cryptos. It's a population of 1.4 billion people. So you can imagine if even 50% of India holds cryptos, the economy can be flooded with a lot of lot of boom in the cryptocurrencies. So I always feel that it is more secure. And when I tell people that, it is also important to give them, like, I feel right now creating a MetaMask wallet or creating a wallet will be changed, will be a one click, button, and you get your cryptos, one click button. You don't have to do so many things, while the lot of companies are working on it, like our app. There'll be an app, you
Yeah.
click and that's it. It's not based on private and public keys. People don't want to know about all this. They understand, but a person who is fairly just wanting and taking it as a digital asset, they would want it fairly to be user friendly. I feel when I am talking about this, I'm always thinking about how to have a user friendly interface and also market the project in a certain way. So while we talk about artificial intelligence and Jada AI, please tell me the roadmap, where what is the roadmap of Jada AI when you moving forward?
Well, there's many things like that are like going on. Right now, we're doing, for example, we have our exchange listing coming up. We're going to be listing with an exchange very, very soon. We're just waiting like for the date so we can like make the official announcement and everything. We're gonna it's an ICO through that exchange. In the meantime, some people are getting them like the tokens earlier, but that's like one thing. I think maybe like sometime next month or early October. That's kind of like the time frame. We're also going to be doing like finishing up a prototype for for Jada Mentat. That's what we're calling the AI, the AGI, Jada Mentat. In about 6 to 8 months. That's kind of like the time we need to like finish the prototype after we launch with the exchange, and then we're going to do some test trials as soon as the prototype is ready. We've partnered so far with about 4 metaverse projects, metaverse worlds. So Jada Mentat is going to be kind of like the governor per se, where it's going to be helping the users, the citizens of those metaverse environments with, like, for example, like integrating them into the economy. Like, for example, if an engineer joins that metaverse environment, Jada Mentat will match that engineer's skill sets with someone that needs those kinds of engineering skills. So that way, for example, reducing the time that it takes that person to like find a job, reducing it to a couple of days as opposed to like 6 months,
That's huge.
or yeah, saves a lot of time and lets people prosper much faster. So that's kind of like one use case. Also for businesses, helping businesses like find their like ideal clients, like instead of having to do marketing for a year to find their user base, maybe in less time. There's also a couple of medical councils that want to have Jada present in their like in their diagnostics. So for example, by matching the patient's genetic blueprint with the like medical scans, like the CT scans, these
Yes, yes,
things,
yes. ECGIs, yeah.
and like cross-referencing that with whatever the patient is coming to like get treated, and then providing a more precise diagnostic and treatment for that patient. So that way, instead of taking them to recover a year, then it'll take them less time, and they'll have a much more pleasant experience recovering. Eventually, doing also like 3D limb regeneration, like 3D printing arms, 3D printing legs, like for people that lost their limbs. That we're also going to be doing some clinical trials for that. That's going to be sometime in 2024. That's when we're gonna launch the more commercial version of Jada Mentat. Um, Pretty much like, yeah, that's kind of like the roadmap. So exchange listing any moment now, maybe next month or October. 6 to 8 months prototype for Jada Mentat if all goes well, and then summer of 2024 a more commercial version. So we can like allowing enterprises to have access to Jada Mentat and having them help them in their businesses. That's kind of like the goal. Pretty much having the AI present in their, like another member of their organization, and helping them with whatever business processes that they may require. And we, of course, as a company, are going to keep issuing updates and upgrades to the AI until it reaches the level of intelligence where it doesn't need us anymore, where it pretty much like rewrites its own source
Code, yeah.
code.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, there's like a lot of things that go in between, but I think those are the three main things in the roadmap. Yeah.
How did you, like, what drives you to the project? I mean, what made you like driven to this? Because you fancy AI in this world, like, but there should be some driving force, you know. What is your driving force of handling Jada AI?
I guess the first one is I just know a lot of very talented and very intelligent people that for one reason or another they just were not able to find happiness and success in their lives because of the information that they had access to and their capacity to make decisions with that information. Sometimes, life is so complicated. Like, life is so complicated that it's impossible to always make the best decisions. And I just feel really bad when I see someone that I really believe in, and they didn't find the happiness that they were looking for because the right opportunities, the right information weren't in front of them for them to take the step that they wanted. So I think that with Jada Mentat, we'll have a better chance at getting to where we want to be in life, because we'll have this companion that'll be able to
Help us, guide us through.
help us, yeah, find the information that we need, make better decisions, and act without having to be afraid of our decisions. So that's reason number one. Reason number two is because I've seen a lot of terrible, terrible, terrible human beings do very terrible things with the information that they have, and making decisions that affect entire communities, thousands, 10,000s of people, if not more, because of the things that they decide to do. Things that take people's money, things that make them live less, things that
Makes them powerful, more
makes
powerful.
them powerful and makes the people under them weak.
Yes.
So if we have this AI that can help give power to the people, that for them to be a bit more prepared and protected against those kinds of people, I think I'll be able to sleep better at night. So that's kind of like what drives me. Those two things. Those two
Yeah,
things are what makes
all
me.
three things are really, really important, and so happy that your mind is thinking in a way, you know, in a way to shape. In the end, we all want a better world for everyone, right? Everybody wants to seek that, but there are some people who just want to get more powerful and they want to undermine different people. So I feel that's a very good way to go about it, and I think that's a one or the other thing. It's making you more responsible for future generations, and how they seek the world, and how are you driving towards that. I mean, a project which is of value will always be the one standing, other projects will fail while the bull and the uh, bear market comes on, right? But when it comes to a project of value, like, that's great that it's bear market right now and you're launching the ICO. I feel why, because that sends a message to everyone that we are here for the longest day. I mean, we are not, I mean, there are a lot of things which now people, after they got affected by ICOs in 2017, I believe a lot of my friends lost a lot of money, and now they're like, okay, then these ideas started launching in bull market, where people also got 10x 100x money, and they're not looking at the project at all. They don't want to see the white paper, they just want to see
Yeah.
how the marketing is going. Everybody in the YouTube is talking about this project. Yeah, this founder has amazing way of speaking things, but what's happening? I mean, it's gone. But right now, those people who got affected in 2017 are sitting and watching it very closely, all your social handles, all the website, FAQs on the website, understanding what are you saying. But I feel still there are people who pretend and launch an ICO in 2022 can also have, like, if they have 10,000 people trusting them in the world, that's it. Or like 5,000 people trusting them and buying their coins, that's it, you know. So I feel, looking at your project, understanding where it is coming from, will also send a message to people that those three things is not related any way of, like, related to money, I mean, or revenue streams or anything. That is related to humanity as a whole, you know. And I don't feel a lot of people are thinking like that. Anyways, if you're doing good for humanity, you'll have food, shelter, clothing. I mean, that's fine. But it's not only to just be in terms of getting rich, like what happened with Dogecoin, you know, or happened with the other projects. So every project, if you're doing value, it is also a difficult phase to authenticate the people around. And I feel while you do the lot of partnerships, and while there are venture capitalists coming in, while who are the members, founding members, or who are there, you know, while, you know, you start to partner with them, you know, I think slowly and slowly people start trusting, then okay, this is a project which is not uh, not going to take our money. So yeah.
Yeah, very true. So 2017 was horrible, but yeah, it was terrible. And well, 2018 was terrible because that's when that's when it
Yes.
crashed, right? Yeah,
Yes,
that's when it
fully
crashed. I
crashed. Yeah.
remember. I remember. I think it was like New
January
Year.
of 2018 was like very like terrible that time.
Yeah, I remember it. I think it was like a New Year.
Yes, yes.
And then it was like going up, like the mountain. And then I was like, and then like a couple of months later, it's like, why is this zero? Like what happened? And then it's like, oh, that's why. And then you saw on the Reddit posts where the founders and the teams, which is like disappeared to the some island.
Yeah, a lot
Yeah,
of places. Even in Canada, there was this exchange. I mean, that was the biggest scam in Canada. I think that time it happened around that time, or 2016. And
yeah,
while the founder was going to the events talking about it in front of thousands of people, and Canadian, having a Canadian government backing him, and suddenly he disappears and he comes to India and he's dead. And people say that it's a scam. He's not dead anymore. He's on dark web, and he has made sure that he paid a lot of money here in India to show him dead. And because when they did that post-mortem, uh, they couldn't find anything because the body was in that state. So, I mean, he must be living in some island, you know, and doing this from the back end. But still, I feel, what is his legacy then? He will not be remembered. I feel it's also about your legacy if you are leaving behind. I mean, you would be remembered for something, because money will be low or high, but eventually when you're gone and you're talked about, I think that's really important for humanity to provide. Because when we see a lot of people who are not there anymore, we talk about the good things they did or the bad things they did in our mind. So I feel I don't know how many people resonate with me, because they are looking to just earn, and they are looking to just have their cryptos and get the 10x or 100x and then move out.
I mean, I think you attract what you are. So I think a lot of your people agree with that, honestly. Like, for example, like you know, like we're all different, right? But I just wouldn't feel like, for example, like I remember someone giving me asterisk rocket coin, then the doji
Okay.
baby rocket, whatever. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
these like pyramid schemes on the blockchain. Like people would give me these tokens in the airdrops, you know, like those unsolicited airdrops where they just like spam your wallet with tokens. And then like I would see that dollar worth of airdrop token growing to like $10, 20. Like, I don't want this. This is not a sustainable project. This project is it's just piling other people's money on top of each other, and then the person that got here will take it out here, and but they're not actually creating value or generating value or solving a problem for society, so it's not sustainable. Once people get tired and they stop believing in the pyramid, they're going to find out, oh, there's no business behind this, there's no solution, there's nothing being fixed, there's nothing being resolved, you know. Let's just go away, let's just escape. And then that's when it flatlines. And so, you know, those kinds of projects, I don't know. I think we all, it's also like a matter of like social responsibility, being
Yes.
able to be like, you know what, this is just not gonna help anyone. It's just a scheme to get people's pocket out, like get people's money out of their pockets into someone else's, but it's really not more, you know, any more different than heck, even gambling has rules, honestly. But though, yeah, like even gambling has rules. But yeah, I know what you mean. You're absolutely right. Yeah.
And also, I mean, in 2017, it was hyped up cryptocurrencies, while it was going up. Ethereum that time was like $30. Right now, it's still up $1,500. You can imagine if you are doing something of value like Ethereum, now just changing from proof of work to proof of stake, they are always trying to make sure that it's environment friendly, or they are able to scale up. So they are actively working. So you can see, I mean, I don't want to talk in terms of the coin price, but yeah, there is definitely value there. That's why it is there where it is, and it took a lot of time for that to happen. It took 5 years. I mean, 5 years, but the project also was kind of like sustainable in that environment. So if you're doing something of value, I mean, you also have like the answer when you see Vitalik Buterin doing that thing, and he's always trying to scale things up while he's there. If somebody is asking him a coin price, he's not even talking about coin price. He's just focused on value. He's focused on his project. He's focusing on how it can be environment friendly, or what can be the problem solved. And decentralized apps were one of the ways. NFTs and D apps, I mean, D apps, when they came in, it changed the whole scenario. And now the NFTs, when it got hyped up, a lot of people were in NFTs. And when I have seen a lot of people losing money in NFTs also. So I feel if you are doing something of value, it will only stay, I mean, for long. And it'll take some time for people to realize that where you are or what you're doing to make it mainstream.
It takes time. Yeah, definitely. Like my intention is like I'm not gonna do an exit. Like there's been people that have been like, sell me all of your research material, sell me your company. I just can't do that. I can't. Like, it's impossible. Like, it goes against the laws of physics. I'm gonna stay in this project until I die, pretty much. Um, I need to make sure that that the technology reaches the level that it has to reach for it to do all of these things that I'm talking about. So, like for example, yes, in 2 years, that's kind of like my goal to have the technology ready to that point in 2 years. But I mean, I know it's not going to be perfect in the first commercial version. It's going to need more and more work.
Trial and error. Yeah.
Yeah. So like it's just a matter of time and doing exactly that. So like the idea is that like we're going to be doing the test runs with these metaverse projects and in parallel to these medical councils, and then we're going to be doing other things. So the AI is able to pretty much solve much more complex problems as time passes until it doesn't need me anymore, or it doesn't, that's kind of like the idea. So yeah, I know what you mean. It's a matter of focusing on value, on helping people, solving problems, and not being like, oh, the coin is, I don't know, 1 cent. I'm gonna do this, and this to make it worth 10 cents, $1. That's secondary. That's as a result of adoption. And to drive adoption, you need to fix problems. The technology has to solve problems and help people. That's the only way for it to get adopted.
Okay, so when I was doing this research, when I lost money or I understood what's because I vividly read about blockchains. I finished 4 books of blockchain in 2016 in just a span of like 15 days. I couldn't sleep when I was reading all this. So then when I started about my journey, I understood how the marketing works, because there were cryptocurrencies which will give some coins to potential YouTubers. Like there are like potential 100 YouTubers. They will give them their coins and they would tell them to market it on their videos. Then they would find some Instagram influencers. They would give some coins, market them. Then they would have a set roadmap of 1 year, where every week or every 10 days there is an announcement of a partnership happening, and that's how the coin price is increasing. And then every 1 month they will have one exchange, another exchange, third exchange, fourth exchange. How their venture capitalists are looking, because when venture capitalists they are always looking for a potential coin price to go higher. That's why they are there. So they would not want the value to be there. In there are way less people with that mindset, but they would also create a scenario in 3 months. Okay, you list in this exchange, then in 3 months you are there, and in the ninth month you are going to be on Binance. Till the time you are there from the ICO and here, that's the point of making a roadmap, partnerships, marketing it. But nobody's talking about anything value. What's happening at the back end? Nobody's talking about it. And that's what hit me. I was like, every currency is backed by such big venture capitalists, these financial institution. And when you see these kind of things happening, you yourself are hit that what is the core of researching a good cryptocurrency project? I had a lot of people believing in me while I was telling them to invest in such a cryptocurrency. So I had these little 5 to 10 where I used to tell them, when it is the market is bare, you go and forget it about for like 10 years, and this is your something to lose. That's what I used to tell my investors. And that's what I learned, when it's very easy to market the project, but come with the idea every week to tell, yeah, this is happening, your checkpoint is this, partnership is there, but this is what we developed. I think content plays a very important role now, that time also. But true content, what I mean is that you can showcase your honesty, or through your words, or through your projects, or whatever way possible, because people are getting smarter. They know if you want to pull the rug or what's happening, you can still make money, tons of money, by a very bad project. But same here, if you are here for a longer run, then legacy is talked about.
That's that's super cool that you mentioned venture capitalists. I'm gonna give you a couple of stories. So, like for example, like I have meetings with venture capital people like every couple of days or every day, pretty much.
Yes.
The only
Yes.
thing they'll ask me is, so you're doing this AI project, right? I'm like, yeah. Oh, okay. And then how much are you trying to raise? I'm like, oh, well, this amount. Oh, okay, okay. Um, and when is the price? What's the price of your
Yeah.
of your coin? I'm like, oh, well, it's this.
Hmm.
Okay, okay. And like, when is it gonna go up? And I'm like,
I'm in the
ah,
wrong place.
yeah. I'm like, I don't know, dude. This isn't a pyramid scheme. I'm trying to make something that'll help us all, And then they're like, oh, but like it has to grow, right? Because people are investing, right? Like it has to go up. And I'm like, well, yeah, but that happens through adoption, through you know, solving problems, helping people. And then they're like, but like you have to have a date. Well, like what's the what's the date? Like give me a date. And I'm like, I don't know. I mean, we're gonna summer 2024. We're gonna release the main version of the of the technology, but we need a date. Like we need to know when money's gonna come in. Like when it like.
Oh my.
I have another call. Goodbye. That's just terrible. Like they just don't care. I mean, most of them. I mean, at least the ones that I've spoken to, they just don't care. They're too worried about when price go up instead of being like this, and the people that and this is what I'm very grateful for the people that have already bought tokens. People that have bought tokens that have given, that have helped contribute to the project, by buying tokens, giving us money, or like sometimes it's not even that. Sometimes it's just like, for example, like they'll come and they'll be like, oh, Diego, like I heard that you're doing this AI thing, and I'd like to learn more. Like what's like where are you at in your journey right now, and what stage is the project in? Like what else needs to happen for you to like achieve the vision? And they'll talk, and I'll be like, oh, you know what? Well, there's these amounts of developers. We're working on this, and then we're going to connect it to this other thing, and then I have a meeting with a couple of exchanges, and I need to talk with marketing people, and I'm very shy. I still don't know how to like talk in public very well. These are the things, like, oh, like I need help with this speech because I'm going to talk at this conference, uh, you know, and then they're like, oh, okay, okay, cool. Well, here's this book. Oh, I'm gonna be in this meeting with these other with these other partners. I'd like you to meet them, so you can work like a partnership, and they can that way when you're ready they can use your technology, and in the meantime you can use theirs. Hey, I'd like you to meet this other person to consult. So you can give your opinion on the project that they're building. I think that's going to help you have a different perspective to what you're doing. Okay, here's this here's this article, things like that. Like actually taking the time to like learn about the project and finding ways to like contribute, to add value. And yeah, like that's the other kind of individual that I'm really grateful to be meeting, because those are the people that are going to use the technology, and those are the people that are they're going to that when something goes wrong, they're going to give feedback to make the technology work better. They're not going to criticize it and be like, this doesn't work, blah blah blah. They'll be like, oh, you know what, like
Finding
oh
solutions, then
yeah, so
figuring out the
solutions
problems
instead
too.
of getting stuck in the problem. Yeah. So that's kind of my experience with venture capital people. They're not all like that, but
They're not all like that. I
yeah,
also
but
feel that.
1% maybe out of 99. But yeah.
We were working on this project called Goaverse, a metaverse project, like where we have these brands. And while the metaverse, after Facebook called Meta, in 3 4 months every venture capitalist was invested in 10 or 5 projects of metaverse in India. So if you go to them and tell them this is the metaverse I'm building, you have not done work on Unity or you have not made anything to show them. You just made slides and you have a great team, okay? And you have made a great pitch, they are able to give you money. And I was speaking to that person, and he said, we want to go about this metaverse project, and we would want your inputs, and how can we
Yeah.
market, how can we pitch, sales pitch, and everything. You're good at it. I gave them the reference, but I said I would not go because I don't feel you've not made anything. I don't believe in you to be with you, right? So he's like, but we will anyways get funds, and that's different part. Funds is very easy to get if you are putting some of value. People will come with a lot of money and their different mindset. But he happens to get funds in just a matter of 40 days without building anything on metaverse. And I was thinking that the venture capitalists also have targets, okay? So when they go to their parties, a different company executive of venture capitalists telling him, oh, we invested in 2 projects of metaverse, did you invest in metaverse? He's like, oh, there's a FOMO, I'm not investing in any metaverse project, what if these guys go up? And this is just a FOMO happening in their world also. That's how he told me. And I was thinking, he's like, now we'll build something of value. Are you sure of now that you, after funds, you're building something of value and you have no idea? And then I hit me that, I mean, funds are not the problem, money is never the problem. I feel it's the value what you're building. Maybe one day, if that person is not able to build, venture capitalists will come and they will just make you out. The founder is gone from the company, the things. They will put a lot of pressure from their diverse channels to bring you down. So why this is not talked about? Why they're just actively raising funds? I mean,
No, yeah, you're absolutely right. So, like, for example, um, for example, money is important because there are, like, for example, there's certain talent that you need to build, and some people don't have the passion to build what like to help you build, right? Like they have the skills, they have the knowledge, the experience to help you build and create the project, but they don't have the passion for what you're doing. So that's kind of like what the money's for, to be able to compensate those kinds of people for their time. But that's, like, then again, why are you building, like, why are you choosing people that don't have passion to do what they're supposed to do? Like, why are you going to be fueling people that are building without passion? Because when people create without passion, it reflects in the work. So
nice.
so that's one thing. The other is, some people need compensation for their time, regardless of how much passion. Because people still need to eat, they still need a roof on top of their heads, things like
Yes,
that.
yes, sir.
So that's another thing. And three, I mean, money is pretty much a tool to bring down barriers. But I think, honestly, that most of these projects that are raising funds, they can do what they're doing using only 10% of the total money that they're raising. When I mean, like, I'm not gonna, like, oh my god, am I really gonna do this? Yes, I am. So when my founder friends, when they show me, like, their budgets, like how much they spend, like how much money they spend, and then they show me, like, on what they spend it on, I'm like, dude, you're crazy. Like, that, you did not have to pay $10,000 for that graphic, right? You could have done that for 500 or something, like, maybe I'm too frugal, but, like, I just think money management, being money efficient and having a low burn rate is very important to making that money last longer, allowing you to be in the race for longer, and just being able to build more instead of just, like, spending the money on really expensive plane tickets or like, what I mean.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, but I think honestly, money should be on your mind, but it shouldn't be the priority. It should never be the reason why you're doing something. Because it's a tool like anything else. And I think that before you start using money or investment money, you should first exhaust all of your other options. Or always be like, okay, how can I create this? How can I build this new component without money having to be like a barrier? Um, there's many things. There's many variables. I think there's other ways in compensating people, and there's other ways helping to help people that isn't money that will ultimately help them out in a better way than any amount of money that you can give them or whatever. But you know, it's just complicated world. But yeah, you're right. It's FOMO with venture capital people, just you know, FOMOing in their parties, being like, oh, let's just throw all our money to a new metaverse project, and last one to get into this metaverse project is a rotten egg or whatever, right? Just late to the party, as some people say. But yeah.
Yeah, because when I was talking with Brian, who's a founder of Bape's Clan NFT, they were
Oh yeah,
talking
I've heard
about
about
meta
them.
investor. Yeah. So when I was talking to him, I mean, I like learned a lot from him, understood, like, or from you, when you talk about AI, I mean, I'm learning a lot, about how this is working and how it's going to help healthcare, you mentioned, and how, it can help different industries. Like a person can get a job in just 2 days while span of 6 months is gone, just because of artificial intelligence being there, AGI being the main thing. So learning from him, I understood that he is a venture capitalist himself, and he's also a founding member. So when you see that thing coming in, so his way of looking at things is very different. So I understood that what is happening in this world, while we see metaverse in India also, funds are going in and everything, and even a venture capitalists themselves have no knowledge about this technology. They don't know where it is. They can just see if they invest this amount of money, they can get 10%, 20%, some returns which is better than banks, some returns which is better than what they can. And that's how they want to work. They want to, but there are very less people who would give money for the idea or something you build. So yeah, I mean, it takes a lot of time. So let's just move on from this venture capitalist thing to Jada AI again. Okay, moving on to the metaverse phase. What do you think right now? Like you mentioned, you have partnered with four metaverse projects. What do you think future lies in metaverse to make it more mainstream? I mean, you doing anything in that part so that still there are a lot of people not knowing cryptocurrencies, and now it's metaverse coming in. What is the span of metaverse to get mainstream for now?
Honestly, I'd say between anything from 5 to 10 years, because at least this is my theory, right? For example, it takes on average 1 gigabyte of data per hour to be in the metaverse, like on spatial, for example. That's a lot of data.
Yes, that's a lot of data.
That's a lot of data per hour. And if you're on your phone in the metaverse, because the phone is where 95% of the people are in, consumers, like prosumers and professionals, and all of these people, yeah, they're on their computers, but that's only 5% of the population. Everyone else are having fun, on the phone. So spending 1 gigabyte of data on your phone per hour to be in the metaverse, it's not very cheap. People's phone plans are gonna die out pretty soon. So that's one barrier. For people to really start adopting the metaverse, they need to have a means to interacting with the metaverse that's more friendly. data-wise and also experience-wise, because the whole point of the metaverse is pretty much like immersing your mind, leaving behind your physical body, and adopting the digital avatar that you have in the metaverse. The only way for you to truly adopt that concept is if you not upload your mind, but really go deep, by using like the headset. That's one way. It's just the headset, and that creates the necessity to, you need an outfit to play the game. And since you're interacting with all of these people at a level where you have to like literally like you need to eat, you need to like you still need to go to the bathroom in this metaverse thing. So there's a necessity to buy clothes, to get furniture, to buy weapons, cars, all of these things.
NFTs, yeah.
NFTs. So that's the second level of metaverse adoption, to make it more mainstream. The third one is having a chip in your brain that does everything that the VR headset already does, but instead of having to like send signals into your eyes, it already, like, the implant already gets it directly from your brain, kind of like what Tesla's doing with the Neuralink.
Yes.
The problem is that technology is so complicated, and the human brain is so complicated, and every one of us, like your brain works differently than mine, my brain works differently than my cat's. Like every single brain is so unique. It's impossible to make a chip that will work like one custom chip for every brain, right? So the best way to go about it is having an AI that understands how your specific brain works, and then acting as the kind of like the interface between your brain and the chip, and being kind of like the arbitrator, like the glue, to make your brain compatible with that chip, and allowing you to have a more deeper experience in the metaverse. That's also where, like, that's kind of like the next step in how Jada is going to help people, by facilitating that level of connection between humans and machines. And that's another main key focus point in our research, and making the Jada AI, the Jada Mentad, be able to really understand everyone's like how our synapse works, and bridging that to a way that a machine can understand it, and then acting as the so we can connect into these worlds in a much more efficient way. That way we won't need the whole Ready Player One suit where that goes all around our bodies, and having to move in a treadmill like in the movie. And yeah, that's kind of like the long-term vision for Jada and regarding the metaverse. Yeah.
Hope you enjoyed the podcast. Keep learning, keep growing, have that self-belief strong, and keep listening to Deep Talk with Avtarit. Do like, subscribe, and shares, as I bring you a lot of people from different kind of fields to talk unfiltered on my show, Deep Talk with Avtarit.